Tuhakake wa Khunki. Daylight has broken upon us again, my relatives. Chadekakakiu. Ya week. Hes Wishtin Watudaad. Chadekakakiu. Please forgive me for this week. We have not been able to, work together. This past weekend, I thought I was going to be able to break away from other duties. I took some kids to herring camp in Sitka with Douglas Indian Association, and I thought we were going to be able to break away, but we weren't even near town service, so I have to apologize not being able to have class last Wednesday through Friday, and then we got back Sunday night or Monday, and I was just too tired from working too many hours with the kids. But so you have to forgive me. Um, so I want to talk a little. I guess talk about the herring. They and the Hinwayao. This herring are starting to move in now, and so that's a saying. I guess we can start off with they and the hin. It's referring to the fish. They and the hin, and this is referring to fish. So when something is swimming, just like when you ask somebody to hand you something, or when you're talking about just anything in Tlingit, it's very specific. And so this is referring to the fish heading back to the river. Yanahin is a fish that's swimming. Ade yanahin. And then you can add to the end of it. Ade yanahin weyao. The herring are swimming in now, or they're coming this way. Achu yakandaltlu. Some of them are beginning to spawn now. Yakandaltlu. And this is in reference to, have you folks seen herring spawn, or anybody has been able to see it? So when herring spawn, they the ocean turns a real milky greenish color, and this is what it's talking about. It's the water is murky. It's kind of what it's referring to. Yakunditsu. And what this means, a few of them are spawning now. Achu means some of them. Achu achu yakunditsu. So that word yakundutlu can be, I believe, can be used also for when the fish spawn. And I believe this is a good thing because once the herring starts spawning, the seiners can't harvest them for commercial roe. I'm not against commercial fishing. I'm a commercial fisherman myself, but we all want the resource to be sustained, and we're seeing a lot of younger fish being taken, which isn't good, because then they're the older fish are the ones that, the older herring are the ones that show the younger ones where to go to spawn. So that's important. You take away the ones that show them where to spawn, it's going to create havoc. and they're just not going to do things the way they're supposed to. So it's important to pay attention to those things. But that's what I was in Sitka for, was teaching students along with a few others um, things about herring, what we know about the herring, and why they're so important to our people, not just Lingits and but our ecosystem. The Sitka Sound comes alive when the herring come in. All the birds come in, whales come in from all over, seals, fur seals, sea lions, you name it, king salmon, fish, halibut. They all come in for the herring. It's That's a lot of food that the herring sustain so many species. So it's very important for that we protect that resource. And it's not, like I said, it's not that we're against commercial fishing. We just want them to come back like they used to. Our people used to talk about how thick the herring were a long time ago, and now we don't see that. So I think that's something that the people aren't hearing. That's what we're trying to get across. And even last year, I don't know if anybody follows it, but if last year they stopped they didn't even, the seiners didn't even seine for them because the herring were too small in general. They weren't gonna seine for them because of that reason. So, but so those are a few sentences that we can use, and the ade and the hin can mean when the fish are in the rivers now too, because it's referring, like I said, it's referring to the river. Heen is river or creek or a flowing body of water. Kanadai heen, a flowing body of river, flowing body of water. Kanada means something that's flowing. The river flows down river. Kanada, it's flowing. So heen, like I said, like our people shortened words. Awaheen, it went to the river, or it swam, I guess is how you could translate it. But yanahin is, it's in the motion of doing it now. Adeyanahin, they're swimming or coming this way. Any questions about some of this? No? Okay. I wanted to share, like I said, I share cultural things as well. This one I want to share is the first celebration, and Austin explains it very well. And it shows how our people, when something was done wrong or somebody overlooked something, and the people addressed it right then and there, apologized for it, and then made things and noted in public. And then the person who was accepting the apology got up and said something, and they moved on. Uh, so this is something I want to share because I believe it's very important, a very important thing of our culture. That when we make a mistake, never be afraid to say, I was wrong. Paul, please forgive me, as was what they were saying. And so I'll go ahead and share that. Hopefully everyone can see it and hear it. So over here in June, there is quite a few people used to live here on my side. And then on the Eagle side, there's quite a few used to live in here. Us people, we came from different places, and we did give them a chance to say a word about it. They never tell us to welcome us. But I apologize with them to forgive us on what we did. We got excited. This is the first time we do something like this here. So next time when we do it, we have to have it on a piece of
paper that you could see Walter. He's got little piece of paper in his hand, but sometimes he made a mistake. Even he's got a paper. Lingit, we don't have no paper. In our mind, we had it there. So that's what the reason why we're making a lot of mistakes. And all the things I've been thinking about, I know what he was going to talk about. Just before he do, I like to tell you this. Last time when I came out there with the jump cut blanket that you know, it came from another car. So they gave it to us. A lot of people have been talking about it. He used to stay with us. He used to stay with us up in AIDS and Tuttle. So that's what we got. And they gave it to us. So we use it, and I'm proud of it to use some of this. But this time I have to return it back to Walter. Thank you.
Wish to introduce to you eight codes to withstand whose people have lived in the Baltic area for quite some time. To withstand the streets of home. My brother in his house was first offered to mark and continue the program. Chief Walter, which is the committees, that you this for apologize to me. I'll never say I'll spend yes, it was key. Every hour, what's here, carnage. I hear enough to say, yeah, was key, Chief was key. إسقاطات الصار يرسم يتخستيه حتى ينتهى آية هذه الجودة تأتيها أما في عمدا إشكال غير يرسم يتخستيه أعطيك تأييديا يا أعطي يخرج دواري يا يكتأييديا تتنتكيين يندخ على سيء على تانشو خالنا يندخ القوة ساهينيو يا أتكاوة يخبرني يا إخوة يا على دعاء جوات يخانا بس يكاين خيرات يا عوض أي نخاوة وتشوفنا هالكفاية apologize please obviously I accept apologize أشوفنا كان خليك يخنا خليك كيف خليك أطلوع كيتان شكون قد تيخته أنا بتوهي نتشيني بتوبخ وش دخل وسيد خلني تسيخ بسيني هي أخي يا دفع في خلقن خلصتين يختيتان خلق يختيت لك أخبرني أخبرني أخبران أنا كم كيارف احتسيد وتسيدنا لكن وآخر شيء أسا إحنا لك ويش قال القانون سيسقط غير يتعلم يتقصديه الكي اختيت على تشخن حتشيني كده تشخن يخذوها قدام في سكول ما كوخيش قندو الكي تعرف كتاب يبي خوته إذا شخن بالتيجي Lingit Class is at the Yadoni, as Canada is chickly at that heart. She's a good clear head when he can create it and it's a bargain teach. That Kadishak passage, Jago Queen Kaya, Aki, Yorkshire of the year. Jay one Jay Dadi at Tashka Kai, what is it then? The Isaac for Nato. The other word. Daarheen, wat dat zo doen als tegenje. Ja, ga je schat gaat je ja, gaat het schande. Het doet wanneer han het week brengt. Het is wat dat ze hier. Dat ja de wanneer gaan naar satie gaat u. Dat kan je wel nou ja, dat is niet satie. Niet gewoon. Je het u iets je. Ja, het is je dat het wat die dit wanneer dat goed. Je hebt daarheen. Ja, door nee, als die toe dat kan het should wat die het star voor ja het dat ik gas in het hier weer zo zijn na ja zeg ja after ja is ik of dat aan jou zei dat is Sunday try for that. Apples to here, you just got the tea. Yeah, that's coffee. Yeah, that's coffee. Naya, there's the day, Kenya, Hana. The Bachanga sit here. Yeah, the Shahik Paki here. The Pachino. يصدق الوقي يختار ناتي اختار شاول القدس هو جاي يحكي تو يسكن فتيه شاف فتيه يا شاول ونتيج يكاد أخي تشدك يجدك عفرستين يوهزدو يوسين يسال هزدو يا دخل جيت خسرت يا حكا أنا دعبست وخشي كنتو جيت ناوي تذكر دواهن هذا جيت يختت قارها قد يسأل ودين عارفا يختت قارك وهاتوين يختت عن خاصتي عن أي غير ونعلن الكلام that Kuhajia, that Jakakasaya, another Hawk, Shvaya Kak, and you got a Jilaki Kak. was talking to the side. The cut through that has to happen. It's a car. That could in you had to start. Die kinder die zijn higher tier. As Jerry that you she is the now.
When he comes back and dies, it's hanging in the journal, assembly chambers, council of meeting. His picture is there right next to Joe Juno. He's gone off here to Sabo. What take the hat could start okay the Bachtan. Yahoo, Yachu, as I have for tinging. Yay, that's why you come the yard to the hair, there do it. And I never put you new check for come. He's not that you teach in the city of he the way about it. So, how you shall he nick you up. What does you say? As Jamasko, she was a loose hustle, shift. As a shark, she stood the sculpture. Yeah, the kaya tea. Yea, that the trainers was there, it's a carcass eating. You can then start to the kitty, never indoor. So you had food, never move out. Still, we have a teacher at heart. A jaha, a teach, yeah, Patrick, but still, we have not okay. Say nothing doing this. A jay, tea, I can't color for the tea. I can't with you up a hole. Say nothing when they hit you up. Yeah, the two way of 10 hours. It's come on, not the cup. On the partial car. Yeah, in the actual child, where you are. Taking on G, different tea, nothing in the outlook. At those country, yeah, there was a way in the trade. Wasn't it your good in the just card him number. The boat that yard, as in the way of those country here, taking on G here, much pretty. I have shut you or car pays there. Because it's a fun I have the Kaya. Yes, I was think that blanket I aircraft. But you know, the taking actually, I have a colleague, but I demand that. And also, I'm not used to it should. قصدي عاديتي أنا أنا كيف تكاكس أنا كنت قوي أنا يا يوكي أنا أقول يتيجس قصدي أنا كوني هو يا يختار نفسه جوا هين يا أخي شو سين وطن هذا كان شيء كيف خشي أنا صادق أتانا هي المفروض أنا صادق خشي هسه هي أنا أختار كذا لكن هذا يعني هذا أول واحد كان كذا شيء قصدي
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. guess I can kind of summarize what he was talking about. So Austin, in the beginning, he said that this is the first time that we've done something like this, so we forget because he was saying, in our mind, that's where we keep things, and sometimes we overlook it. And they didn't mean to do that. And he was saying that on the Ravens side, there was lots of Ravens there, and they forgot to ask them what they wanted to do. So that's when they turned it over to Forrest DeWitt. And he said, my brothers, they came and apologized to me for looking over me. And so they apologized and I accepted it. And so he had to go into uh, the history of of this area and why they got the the Dipper, why they became the Dipper House people. He said Wushtachaw do Asai, how we got a different name than the Clean AD is what that means. Wushtachaw do Asai, because they broke off from them and they became Yachte Hitan after that. So that's what he was for. He asked their son, Ed Coons Sr., was child of Yachte Hitan. And so that's why they asked Cecilia Coons to come out. They said, Ha Yit Shat, Atudes, Atudik Wahan, Yats Ah. They said, our son's wife, Hagu, you're going to step into your father in law's at U. And because her father in law was Yachte Hitan. And so that's what they were talking about and addressing. And it's kind of yeah, I can spell it. So remember, I don't know why my laptop won't let me download the keyboard to make things a lot simpler and easier. So just remember that X next to that H next to the X just means it's underlined. It's not actually in there. So it's YAX underline TEHITTAAN. Yachtehitan. So as you can see, how far celebration has come since the early days. Was our people sharing a lot of history going on, and this was all very important as to what when they were making the apology, and later on, they move on from it, and then he sings a song to show that he's accepted everything and that it's now a happy occasion, even though he was overlooked, is what he had said. So, it's, our way of doing things is can seem in Western terms like things take too long, but it's not. That's just how our people are. Our way of life takes time, makes us slow down and really think about things. That's the way our people were. We're philosophers, is what my dad always says. You name it, we had it. Our people specialized in certain things, and we're very educated people in our own right. We didn't need Western education to tell us what was going on. We already knew. But when that Western education came to us, they taught us, see Jane run, see Dick run. That's why because they believed that we were our level of language wasn't up to par to English. They believed that um, we weren't equal with them, which is wrong because the English language is so shallow. And every time I've heard any speaker that speaks any language other than English will all say the same thing. English is a very shallow language. There's no depth to it at all. So, my dad always says English isn't subordinate, or Tlingit isn't subordinate to the English language. There's so many words that just one word um, can take quite a bit of time to try to explain it. And even our elders said that. They said that we can paint the picture of what it kind of means, but you still won't get the full meaning of it because the English language has no equivalent word to it. Not one. And these were the very most educated people. But I have another class I have to get going. We should be able to meet Friday. I'll be heading back to Sitka to help finish with herring eggs tomorrow, but I'll make time Friday to make sure that I'm here since I won't be traveling with the kids. I'll be able to set aside time, so we should be able to meet Friday, and I'll share some more things about the herring. I guess since it's that time of the year. Um, and before it switches to another month. Make sure. This month is called Hin Tanach Kayani Disi. Oops. Hin Tanach Kayani Disi, which means when the plants underwater begin to bloom month. This is the time of the month when our people knew things were starting to bud underwater, so that's what we called it. And remember, it all depends on where you come from. Sometimes it's a total different name than what we have up here, or it's a month earlier. So it's not universal up and down the coast. Sometimes they change and they are different. And so be sure to look at that or do some research. But around this area, generally, this is when it begins to bud. Things underwater begin to bud. And, a lot of people will say the month of ours is when you gather clams. Don't always listen to that news. Don't, I always tell people too, I said we had a calendar, natural calendar before white man's calendar came to us. And we didn't have a letter R in our language. So they always told us it was during the cold months. And then when you heard the grouse hooting, the name for a clam changes as well. When a clam or when a clam gets red tide poisoning, they call it nukt, which is the same as a grouse. Grouse and a clam that have red tide poisoning share the same name, nukt. And that's because they said when they begin to hoot, that means they have shellfish poisoning. Nukt is a grouse, or nukt when clams have PSP. Otherwise, the name in Lingit is God. God is a clam in general. But once it has PSP or shellfish poisoning or red tide poisoning, it becomes nukt. So remember, when you hear the grouse, that means they're no good no more. Grouse or clams are no good. So don't always go by the month of ours. You don't want to end up getting PSP. That's what I know from growing up in Cake. So it's also when the fish start running. It also correlates with that. So there's a lot of things that play into why clams get PSP, but our people had a natural calendar before the month of ours was a thing. All right, I have to get going to my class. Thank thank you all for listening and joining. Chief.